Hello, friends. It's the Carnivore Rabbi here, as always, to meet, pray, and love. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. And one of the questions I constantly ask the great carnivore doctors, and my video with Dr. Chafee releases later today, you're going to love it, is I ask them, what explains the carnivore calm, also known as the carnivore zen? We know this feeling. We feel more relaxed when following the carnivore diet. We do. We don't get as angry, agitated, temperamental. We are patient, calm, focused. That's not true 100% of the time or for 100% of the people. But I know people get it to different degrees. It can also be affected by our stress in life, our sleep, but it is an undeniable reality. Talk to any carnivore and they have it. They've experienced it. Just watch the videos of carnivores versus vegan debates as well. Who looks calmer, more relaxed? That tells you all you need to know. Now then, the big question, I wonder, is why is that? Now, I always thought, my initial thinking, was that there's reduced inflammation in the brain. Now, that's part of it. Where certainly inflammation is a tremendous force in our bodies, and carnivore really addresses it better than anything else. I also think perhaps the simplicity of the diet reduces the psychological tension around eating. We know exactly what we're going to eat. We don't worry about it. We don't get anxious about it. And feeling nourished just makes us feel better. That's all part of it. But I heard another explanation recently that made sense, and it's counterintuitive. We are calmer as carnivores because we have more cholesterol in our brains. Yes, more cholesterol. That's the thing that scares everybody about the low-carb diet, especially the carnivore diet. But it's actually one of its greatest benefits. Our brains produce cholesterol. Every cell in our body needs cholesterol. Now, people with much greater scientific knowledge than me have described LDL cholesterol, now that's the so-called bad cholesterol, as a firefighter. It's present when there is a fire, a disease, a dis-ease in the body. It's there to fight it. It's not a cause or a symptom of it. And high cholesterol is associated with longer lives. This has been proven in many studies over, and those studies are more convincing than the studies showing that LDL leads to heart disease. I would also say evidently that it produces a much more relaxed vibe and feeling of peace, in addition to a longer life. Unfortunately, doctors are not catching on to this yet. But some insurance companies are. I just recently saw several articles pointing out that high LDL cholesterol is no longer considered a negative on medical tests for life insurance. And that's relatively new because test I took a few years ago, it was. That's huge. Remember, the sole goal of an insurance company is to predict mortality. All of their profits depend on it. That's their main job. And insurance companies are immensely profitable, and they've been around for hundreds of years. They've now looked at the data and concluded that there is no higher mortality risk with high LDL. Why do doctors and nutritionists in the wider culture keep demonizing LDL cholesterol? On a psychological level, people have a very hard time admitting they're wrong. Can you imagine? We as individuals have that, but can you imagine all the medical establishment figures, very powerful figures, who would have to eat their own words and admit that they've been misleading us for decades? That doesn't happen overnight. Hopefully it'll happen someday. And generally, scientific paradigms do change, but it takes a long time. But then you also have to follow the money. Guess which drugs are the most profitable of all time? Statins, which are designed to lower LDL cholesterol. And guess who pays for much of our medical education and research in nonprofit hospitals? Pharmaceutical companies. I just noticed a wing at a hospital was named after one of our local pharmaceutical companies in Chicago. We are not going to get change from the medical establishment. Now, some forward-thinking and compassionate doctors have and will change. I know several who have. And we know it too, seeing them on YouTube. But Thank God we have access and knowledge and insight from researchers like Dave Feldman and others doing real, non-biased research on cholesterol. And just think about it in the big picture. Doesn't it seem strange that the most basic human foods, meat and eggs, are the ones marginalized when we demonize cholesterol? It's more than psychology. I think it reflects a worldview. That demonization reflects a worldview that we, every newer generation, always knows more than previous generations. This idea of infinite progress. And that's simply not true. In life, often we discover old truths that others forgot. And on a deeper level, really growing creativity sometimes means we let go of what we once thought was certain. And that's what we need to do with cholesterol. Famed psychiatrist and writer Erich Fromm was raised in a traditional Jewish home in Europe. And as he developed his theories around psychology, I think his Jewish background, his spiritual background, informed this statement where he said, creativity requires the courage to let go of certainties. Exploring is always riskier than staying home. Yet without exploration, without changing our minds, without looking at new evidence, there is no discovery, there is no real progress. We have to leave some familiar ideas behind and rediscover what is true. The carnivore diet is helping us discover the truth about cholesterol and healing.